Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to all. Before we begin, let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Amin, amin, ya rabbal alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Strategic Content and Information Management Postgraduate Webinar Officiating Ceremony and Sharing Session 1. I'm Shifa and I will be the MC for today's events. Strategic and segmentation are important in order to survive your PhD and Masters, and I have come to the conclusion that it is normal for postgraduate learning processes to take such lonely route in order to achieve success within oneself. A conclusion that every postgraduate within one agree with, which I understand the necessity of critical thinking of optimal reading. And for cause of that, we initiate this postgraduate webinar where we can learn, relearn, captivating knowledge and also providing opportunity for students to publish online. All of this, of course, with the guidance of our fellow supervisor. We hope that our small contribution and effort will inspire all students to develop their creative skill and begin writing and publishing for prestigious journal and conference. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dean of Faculty Information Management, Prof. Dr. Technologist Muhammad Norman Masrid to give him welcoming speech. The floor is yours. This webinar will have a topic presentation for students to present their paper in the next day. Okay, while waiting for Dean, let's enjoy the corporate video once again. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to invite the Dean of Faculty of Information Management, Prof. Dr. Technologist Muhammad Norman Masrek to give him welcome and speech. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, System Chairperson. A very good morning to the audience. And I would like to welcome the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, Professor Dr. Sazili Shahibi, to this event. And to the organizing committee, I would like to dedicate my acknowledgement and appreciation for arranging and organizing such a significant event for today. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important event, especially for those who are pursuing their PhD. It is very imperative for each and every one of us to always share the progress of our research, because if we do not share our research progress, we will not be able to benefit the targeted audiences. And in many of my talk, I've been saying that when we share our research progress to different kinds of audience, different platform, we establish a firm conviction and confidence in our topic. This is actually one of the important ingredients to success, to our success in the PhD program. Many a time students try to refrain and abstain themselves from sharing what they have done or what is the status of their progress. So having this form of platform, scholarly platform, is very crucial for us to participate and also contribute, because that will provide an ample opportunity for us to not only establish confidence with our topic, but also we can expect other audiences to share their thoughts on our research, or their inputs and also feedback will definitely help to refine further or improve or strengthen our research quality. Okay, I do not want to further elaborate on my talk. So I think without further ado, I would like to call upon, I would like to return to the Sister Chairperson for this event. And this event will be officiated by our Deputy Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs. Over to you, Sister Chairperson.
Okay, thank you for your inspirational speech, Prof. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we will have the advisor of SCIMIPW 2021, also UiTM HEP Deputy Vice Chancellor for Chancellor Prof. Dr. Muhammad Sazili Shabi for his keynote address and officiating the webinar. Over to you, Prof. Okay, while waiting for Professor Dr. Muhammad Sazili Shahbi, let's see video corporate from Faculty of Information Management. Okay, I'm passing the floor to Associate Professor Dr. Norhayati Hussin to do some talk.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to all, to ladies and gentlemen who are participated in the strategic content and information management international postgraduate webinar series. This is for the first time that we are conducting this notable event, for the postgraduate students in particularly in Faculty of Information Management as well as UiTM as a whole. So today we are going to have a series of talk which will be begin with Dr. Khasiah from the Chief Librarian from University Malaya. And then in the afternoon, we will have a sharing session, and I can say that it could be a very a good sharing session for the PhD candidates and also all the postgraduate students, which is we are going to talk on the research methodology, in the afternoon. I hope that all of you participate actively in both talks, as I can say that these two talks will be beneficial to you in terms of giving you some input, giving you some advice for you to pursue your PhD and as well as your research in the future. So before we start with officiating the webinar today, let me run through some of the the program that we have in 2 days program, which is starting from today. Tomorrow we're gonna have a series of presentation paper from PhD students and as well as students masters by research. They are going to give you some progress and as well share with you their experiences throughout their journey, throughout the process of maybe in all stages of data collection and then all stages of research process. So they are going to discuss with you and present to you whatever that they might be experienced throughout the process, especially in the certain a stage of doing their research. This is very much important for all of us, especially for the postgraduate students, to be able to conduct, to articulate your ideas on the paper, and then to articulate your idea during maybe during your data collection later on, because you have to be very what can I say, very prepare in order to go and collect your data later on. Okay, so while we're waiting for the TNC, our Deputy Vice Chancellor, to come on air, so we maybe can play again the corporate video, because it seems that our TNC having some technical problem over there. It's okay. The problem sometimes happens and during this hard time of us, So can you please again, we play the corporate video so we can have enjoy for a little bit, have some coffee while we watching the corporate video. Over to you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we will have the advisor of SCIMIPW 2021, also UiTM HEP Deputy Vice Chancellor, Prof. Dr. Muhammad Sazili Shahibi for his keynote address and officiating the webinar. Over to you, Prof.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Dean Faculty of Information Management, Professor Dr. Muhammad Norman Masrik, Deputy Dean Academic Dr. Madhir Johari bin Abdullah Sani, Deputy Dean Research and Industrial Linkage, Professor Madya Dr. Sapawi Abdul Rahman, Deputy Dean Student Affairs Dr. Iza Rafiziawati Kamal Rafizi, our invited speaker Professor Dr. Zainuddin Awang, Dr. Khasiah Zakaria, and then Associate Fellows, Associate Professors, Fellow Teammates, Postgraduate Student in Faculty of Information Management and Fellow Review. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to be with you this afternoon at the first Strategic Content and Information Management International Postgraduate Webinar Openings. On behalf of the organizer team, may I extend a warm welcome to all participants and speakers in this webinar. Due to the COVID-19, we are here online. And despite the hurdles of physical interaction and SOP, I am proud that we have come to this far. The development of content and information management is moving forward actively to fulfill the information demands for the society. During pandemic COVID-19, Innocent's life in society depends on digital content for survival. Everyone who wakes up in the morning will find their mobile phone first to access content for information to make themselves keep updated about their surroundings. The creation and modification of digital content have become a lucrative new profession and essential for digital economic development. However, the promise of widespread exposure and popularity among online users heighten the likelihood of chaos due to misdemeanors and security breach. In addition, everyday operational activities have become increasingly online, with 2/3 of the world population nowadays being online consumers. As a result, the risk of exposing personal data and digital theft is also addressed. The advancement of information technology has enabled content consisting all type of information residing in the centralized depository and can be accessed anywhere at any times. It also enables an easy way for collaboration by creating dynamic web page, allow for quick and easy updates, for provides detailed useful plug and tool to make your site as effective and secure as possible while also saving your time and money. In preparing digital content strategically and managing information, we should not forget to examine issues that need to be overcome nowadays. In this speech, I would like to discuss few issues that massively speak by the peoples in the areas. Okay. The first one I will talk about humanizing. The most recent content and information management issue are how to humanize online activities to support large population, communication controls, and community support. The growing concern among citizens as internet users are known this day is that technology will become the masters of the teachers. I speak from standpoint of normalizing technology and digital literacy, where when everyone can use the latest application and adapt to the trend of futuristic smartphone, we cannot ignore the minorities will disagree. From a broader perspective, managing such a diverse range of content and data amid opportunities and blind surface present some not so hidden opportunities. We can say that technological advancement have made job easier. The strategic approach to content and information management incorporate process and stage of knowledge retrieval by scaffolding unconfirmed, which may be valuable data for those who acknowledge it. The adage, one trash can be a treasure to another, applies here. The second one is about security issue. Since content exists over the internet associated with vulnerability, security content is one of the aspects that has become an issue to consider for content developers in managing information. Generally, security can be defined as a belief or feeling of being free from the threat or dangers. Security content in a website can be seen from various aspects, but the most crucial part is the data security. When the securing principle is applied, the content developer must assure the confidentiality, availability, privacy, and the integrity of the information provided. In electronic commerce discipline, assessing the merchant's digital content required users to reveal and share their personal information. Its indirects involve data security within the transaction, which happen when users indicate their personal bank account information. It is vital for the users to feel secure and trust in using digital content application. Therefore, the content developer must be able to provide a safe environment for the customers. The compliances of the information security principle will make content user feel secure, and it is also essential for trust building in digital economic development. Next is about credibility of the content. Digital content over the internet is always linked to fake news. According to the New Scientist in USA 2018, the analysis of tweets on Twitter by 3 million people between 2006 and 2017 indicate that fake news spread significantly more than the truth on social media. Comparing truthful and fake news, an analysis of 15,000 Twitter users reveals the truthful tweet 6 times as long as a fake one to spread across Twitter user 150,000 people. 50,000. In large part, falsehoods in the sample were 70% more likely to be retweeted than the truth, even after accounting for account age, activity levels, and the number of followers. The most viral fake posts were toward content on political issue. As a result, digital content embraced credibility issue. Naturally, credibility is reliable. Its reliability and refer for any necessary dispute. Credibility can also be described as a quality to convince and contribute to the user's trust. The content elements covered in credibility must be enriched by authenticity, trustworthy, source of information, and references. User will be looking at credibility content such as vendor background, product knowledge, merchant, goods image, to purchasing some things. The content developers' roles must be able to manage the content of websites, delivering clearly stated information. In managing digital content, the element of the culture cannot be placed consistently. Generally, culture is associated with each other, were described as strengths, norms, knowledge, belief, and art that can be found in human behavior in a group of people. According to Zinnemann, in 2017, culture encompasses music, art, religion, language, cuisines, and lifestyle. In online transaction, culture plays a significant role in trust building. The element that can be measured the user trust in culture factor are religious, content, language, selected returned language, color content, and vendor race information. Dissemination of content always create various form of understanding because it is subjected to the user's experience, knowledge, and environment. Disseminated content is exposed to many interpretations and creating different reaction to the user content. Due to the information technology advancement, digital culture has represented the culture shape within society toward content and management of information. The digital culture or online environment has significantly improved capability communities for access to digital content in Malaysia currently. However, digital culture is strongly influenced by digital disruptions and digital behavior. Digital disruption is all about changes in the fundamental expectation of culture due to technology advancement. Whereas digital behavior is all about the acceptance of technology to facilitate the whole daily life in the society. The current implementation and existence of digital disruptions toward fully implementing the digital environment are still inadequate, and the overall impact is limited for digital content development. Ladies and gentlemen, and to the dear students, to the dear postgraduate students must comprehend and investigate the possibility of overcoming such difficulties. As a result, cultivating knowledge and interest in content and information management will start and possibly inspire postgraduate and fellow supervisors to develop new ideas and scholarly arguments, and SCIMIPW is a platform for just that. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am now officiating the start of the first Strategic Content and Information Management International Postgraduate Webinar for 2021. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you and stay safe.
Okay, now we're going to start on our first sharing session that will be moderated by Associate Professor Dr. Norhayati Hussin, Faculty of Information Management lecturer that have a vast experience in research. Together with our speaker for today, I hope that the outcome will be fruitful to all the postgraduate students. I pass to you, Associate Professor Dr. Norhayati Hussin.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, our sweet MC today, Miss Nur Shifa Tukiran. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to all participants, ladies and gentlemen of Strategic Content and Information Management Information Postgraduate Webinar SCIMIPW 2021. So for today, let's continue with the morning session. And today with us, we have someone that is no stranger to the field of librarianship in Malaysia. We are going to hear about her experiences and journey in pursuing her PhD. So these experiences, that she earned later on can be imparted as a lesson learned for those who are out there, for those who are still in the PhD journey, and then who are still in battling, in the battle of the PhD itself. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker for today's session. This sweet, keen, and brilliant lady, Dr. Khasiah Zakaria, is a librarian, graduated with doctorate in library science and degree in mass communication. She has more than 30 years of experience in the academic library setting. Very dedicated person, especially in research, regarding well-vetted strategies that support the kinds of relationships and learning opportunities needed to promote communities' well-being, healthy development, and transferable learning. Dr. Khasiah has involved in promoting library, promoting literacy by supporting reading programs and other learning, teaching, and other educational initiatives. She has an unserving support toward development of library assets and materials, research database, and other aspects of archiving. She is very passionate about collaborating with teams, supervising staff, and supporting library operation, and has been invited to share in seminars, many seminars and conferences, written so many articles, and reviewed so many very vast volume of articles. Dr. Khasiah Zakaria has worked with UiTM for so many years, and currently working as the Chief Librarian at University Malaya, Kuala Lumpur since June 2019. She strives to sustain the local librarianship by participating in various events together with Persatuan Pustaka Malaysia, IFLA, and Syria Camp. So without further ado, let me welcome Dr. Khasiah Zakaria, and then the floor is yours. Please welcome.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Thank you for the introduction. It's quite short actually. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure how many of us is in this conference. If I can see a show of hand, 40 viewers and counting. Okay, so not so many of us here today. Talking about PhD, if I can share straight to my share. How do I share? I need help on this. share screen. All right. Is that okay? Can you hear me? Hello? Dr. Norhayati.
You may proceed now.
Okay. Okay. Nampak? Clear. Can I start now?
Yes, you can.
All right. So, okay, this is some slide that I have prepared for you, for all of us today. Congratulations on this. It's quite long. SCIMPW 2021. So hopefully the people that we want to speak to are already in the midst of preparing for their proposal defense of their PhD. So slide tak gerak. Okay. Not sure how this thing is. Okay, this is my first slide. So okay, before I start the dialogue or session or sharing, you know, I wish you all Salam al Hijrah for 1443 Hijrah. Yeah? So the statement there actually is really nice. There are so many e-posters you can get from, but this is particularly that catch my eyes, you know, because of the statement. Yeah? Mari kita berazam untuk menambah ilmu serta memperbanyakkan amal untuk jadikan bekal. So actually this statement means that, you know, every one of us here that is listening to the discussion this morning, we are in the midst or actually in our steps, you know, to share, and also, you know, whatever we have from the day that we have started to study. For example, formal study in the primary school until today, there are about 20 years or so that you have started learning and also discussing, dialoguing about your information that you have in your, they call it a tacit tacit knowledge, yeah? Because most of you perhaps, you know, have learned and also have gone through, you know, from the primary school, then up to maybe for the Malaysian participants, you know, we have the SPM, we have the UPSR, you know, you have gone through those things, you know. Hopefully whatever the ilmu or the ilm in your day-to-day, you have developed most of it into something, they call it tacit knowledge, okay? So previously, when you have gone through the primary school or the, you know, SPM or the, you know, secondary school, and then up to degree level, and later on you have your masters, and now you are in your PhD. Okay, we are looking at you as people with a lot of tacit knowledge. So what happened when you have this tacit knowledge in you? You know, why you wanted to study? That's a good question. Actually, how many people are, you know, PhD holders in the world? Not many actually. It's around 2%, you know, about 2% in US, you know. So in the whole world, there are about 1% of people that it has gone through PhD. Or perhaps in my case, you know, in my class, you know, early 2015 when I started doing my PhD, there are about 30 students, you know, we call ourselves PhD candidates. So out of 30 people, So actually, so far that I know of, we have only about 5 that graduated, 30 out of 5 out of 30 graduated with PhD, meaning that we have 5 people, graduated, doing all the from introduction, from title. In fact, from the title, we have gone to, for example, 30 people submitted proposal defense, title, and everything. The supervisor says, oh, no, we don't like your title. We might want to change your title. So back and forth, So out of 30, perhaps 10 will go on and continue to the next level where they propose the introduction part and also what type of methodology and so on and so forth. After that, throughout, for example, the next 2 or 3 years, perhaps there's only about 7 or 5 people, will reach to the part where they can, submit their, methodology and then started collecting data. So imagine, why we must study PhD, it's for what? So I have 4 things here that I have already deliberated to share with you. It's because of knowledge economy, number 1. Number 2 is because of knowledge creation. And number 3 is because there are new things to do, or new things to share. And last but not least is about new skills. So in the statement of in the Malay statement, it's about gelar. Gelar is about you want to call yourself a PhD people, PhD people with PhD. So it means that you have to know that you have new things to share, new contribution to the knowledge economy, and new things for the knowledge creation to be shared with the world. And it's about new skills that you wanted to tell people that this is the new way to go. So that is, I think, about why you wanted to have your PhD. That's for me, okay? People will not be the same. Some people will have, for example, oh, I just want to have a PhD. I just love studying PhD, for example. I have at least 2 or 3 people that I met that they say, oh, I have a first PhD, now I am into second PhD, Some people are like that, okay? So, yeah, all the best, So, at the moment, if you still have your first PhD, let's start, sharing with everyone. Actually, do you have these 4 things, or maybe you have 6 or 7 things to do why you wanted to study the PhD? Okay. In about talking about knowledge economy, for example, but this slide I know I took from somewhere. You can just check from the any search engine. So knowledge economy. So it's about economy where the production and use of knowledge are paramount and vital. So you can use the knowledge for agriculture, industrial, factory, for and at the moment when you talk about knowledge itself, the knowledge economy, SDG, you have to know Sustainable Development Goal, that has the 17 agendas. Where are we actually contributing in terms of our PhD, for example, whether you are in the agriculture, you're industrial, are you submitting topics, or are you submitting methodologies that is already done by the rest of the world? Are you contributing to this SDG or not? So this is what when you talk about the topic itself, okay? And then you talk about the knowledge creation, for example. If you're talking about knowledge creation, whether the formation of that new ideas that you have processed in your brain at the moment, whether you can brain it, okay, you talk about brain it, are you thinking that, people, when they look at your title, oh, this is so interesting, I wanted to have this type of knowledge when I finish my PhD that can contribute, for example, to the development of the agriculture, at my kampung, at my village, of things like that. And you talk about acquisition of knowledge, transfer of knowledge, you talk about the specific role of your organization or yourself, to the impact of the new knowledge. So these are the thing that you have to understand, process in your brain at the moment. This is a knowledge creation part that you are contributing to, by being a PhD candidate, okay? So next, what about the new things, Do you think about, you are thinking about, oh, if you are doing your PhD, Is it about a new something, new knowledge, new theory? Or is it just about a deliberation of the old primary, issues, your primary school issues that make you through to the addressing your, for example, your degree issues. For example, perhaps you talk about bullying, bullying in the classroom, which most of us gone through that. I think about 3 or 4% of people like us, gone through that bullying part. When you at the classroom, you got bullied by your peers, or your sometimes your teachers also bullied you. Okay, so perhaps these are the things that you wanted to innovate, something that you can tell your mom, oh look, mom, today I'm bullied, so I have this gadget so that when I am bullied, my mother knows that I am bullied, and suddenly there you go, if anybody bullied me, my mother will come and bring rotan or something like that, so that you can be checked, so that the other people will not, be easily bullying you. What happened, if you can do that type of, new things to do, for example. Because the ultimate definition of an innovation is executing an idea which addresses a specific challenge and achieve value for everybody, for the stakeholders. So there you go, we have number 3. And you talk about PhD. Which way do you think you can go? Whether you have a very nicely path way, going through your PhD, the A, or you're the B one, you go to a forest, you don't know which way to go, you see everywhere is the same, you can see that there is no path trodden. Nobody gone to that area yet, it's really, really difficult. There is no methodology for it. There is no topic even, discussing about it, For example, the pandemic. For the past 10 years, for example, people talk already about pandemic, but nobody aware that this pandemic is really, really currently, is really, really, ferocious, it's really eating everything, the mental, the physical world of us, So people don't talk about it today, the 10 years ago, about pandemic. This is where the B is, whether it's that way that you are going, you are looking at the forest is so thick, you can't get through it. For the A, for example, oh, I know I'm going this way, so easy, so nothing to do with, except for, for example, you are testing the case study, for example, done in Netherlands, for example, and you are testing in Malaysia, for example. Whether it's allowed or not, the supervisor will have to attest to that, okay? So I like to share this, the Allama Iqbal, I was introduced to Iqbal poem about 10 years ago when I sent my kids to school and they asked me to, literally read this poem, So to a young man, I know, at least 90% of people who are the PhD candidates, are young people. Unlike me, when I gone through my PhD, I'm already like 40 something, So I took my master's when I was about almost 40 years old. So I said I have to finish this, my journey to the PhD level, because at 40 years old, then you already, you just, it's very late for me to get my master's, because of, actually there's so many trial and tribulation in my part, to finish my education, Why I said finishing education at PhD level, people talk about PhD level, at a very young age nowadays. At 23, I already got my PhD, so it's nothing new, to have 23 years old people with a PhD. That's why, the poem today that I wanted to share, I'm not going to read this poem for you. You can find this poem, but because one of the lyric there, in the poem, it says that, when an eagle's spirit awakens in the youth, it sees its destination in the heavens. Imagine when I speak to you earlier on, when we talk about whether it's a knowledge creation or not, whether there is a new things to do or not. Actually, whatever that we are doing today as a PhD or not a PhD, any new things will have the destination in the heaven. Believe it or not, whether you believe or not, one day in the heavens you will remember that, oh, I think I've done this part where actually I have got this, the fruits, that the fruits that I have, the plan that I have submitted, the plan of the ideas, to the supervisor that I have submitted to my supervisor today, that is already brought to heaven, that you have the fruits there, where actually Allah is already going to give you something at the heavens there, okay? So again here, I wanted to show you, the part where actually, whether just now I mentioned about you have two trodden paths, whether one is untrodden, one is trodden path, you can walk either the A or B. Now you are looking at the, the field, full of flowers, so you have a few statements there, a Doctor of Philosophy, or best known as PhD, an advanced postgraduate degree, is the highest in academic degree, hopefully. When you consider that you have the entrance of qualification for a career in academia. Okay, I am not in the academia, but I am also people that supported people in the academia. So I can see that when I am as a librarian, for your information, I think I am the only librarian in Malaysia, the chief librarian in Malaysia that has PhD. And you should be proud that I come from UiTM. I think the only university that so far produced the most of PhDs in science and social sciences, okay, and humanities. If I'm not mistaken, check that statement, okay. So that first statement means that you have a de facto entrance. Imagine if I don't have a PhD, perhaps UIM will not hire me today. Okay, perhaps, okay, that is quote unquote, because you see that everyone in the top rank, for your information, we have the top 7 in the university mostly has PhDs, but librarians in most university in Malaysia has none. So that is where the spirit is. You break something. This is something new I wanted to break, knowledge creation, knowledge ideas. So there you go. Khasiah Zakaria is that person actually. The de facto entrance of qualification for a career in the academic research university. Okay, so second statement, it carried out within 3 or 4 years, and it took me more than 3 years. Okay, because I took it as part time. Yeah, I will show you. I will share that roadmap of my PhD later on. And the third statement is, who would willingly submit to spending endless hours? Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have at least 20 hours a day. Only 4 days is for your resting time. If you have kids, if you have friends, if you have boyfriends, if you have any projects, that only 4 hours actually for you. Because another 4 hours out of that 20 hours, you must sleep. Without sleeping, you will have another problem. So I'll share with you. 20 hours is for you to study. 4 hours is for you to sleep. Another 4 hours is for the rest of whomever that you have around you. Okay, this is my content today. I have at least 6 content that I wanted to share today. To say or not to say means that, I like to put it in this way. Sometimes life is about poem, very poetic. You have the lyrical here and there saying that, you should start, spelling the flowers. You shouldn't be trotting in terms of, you are tired, when walking along the very rusty roads, for example, and very dusty, rusty, very, very hot, walking distance is very long. You need to stop and get some water, and this water is about poem, Poem is something that you should be reading at least, once in at least 3 months, So I have few of, things that I wanted to share with you. For example, this is from Archibald Lampman, So, if you read that again, so I have that statement there saying that, to till the old world's wisdom till it grow. To till, means that, you if you have a tanah, if you have a ground, a soil, you till it, you cangkul dia, put in more, for example, some people say baja, some people put in water, so that the ground, the soil is so nice for the plant to grow, okay? So it's like that for us, people with, wanted to grow their knowledge, you have to have a very good environment the surrounding is good enough for you to develop your wisdom. Okay, so this wisdom is a garden for the wandering of our feet. So imagine how nice this Archibald lamp and put it, a garden. So that I showed for you just now, a garden can be, a green, it can be green, yeah. It can be, the plant can be green, can be rumput there, it can be a lot of small plants there, that can be, you can call it, for example, it's a festive kind of plants, but the thing you saw is now maybe it's not so nice. So you put on a few colors, for example. So you have there, the roses coming up, for example. So this is where you put in your, your energy, in your soil, in your path, So for the first thing that you have to say here is about the supervisor. I have a lot to say about supervisor. Second, about work and projects. Third, about peers and friends. Fourth, about your topic, another long subtopic that I have wanted to share. And time and space, for example. And the last but not least is about family and events. So let's say about supervisor. Of course, I'm going to cut short, a lot of it, some of this ingredient, you can check this out. A lot of this is being shared in the internet. So I just wanted to highlight a bit on this. Your relationship within your supervisor should be equal. You should be in the first time of the day when you meet your supervisor, it has to be a personal relationship. You know her or she, you know him or he, that that this guy is going to be your personal friend, is going to be your personal advisor, with a mutual respect, equal to equal, So if you do not have this type of relationship today at the start of your journey in PhD, I think you better check again, okay? So establishment of this personal relationship must start from day one. So number two, inspiration and creation of ideas. The professor must be, usually a supervisor should be a professor, by now, or at least a Professor Madya, so assistant professor, So he or she should be your source of inspiration and creation of ideas, So these people that you meet must have this smart thing. He or she must be specific, the topic that you share with her or him is achievable and timely, measurable and realistic. Maybe from the day one, you should put that, so it's really a good plan. So it's normal to have ideas coming from your professor. For example, your supervisor will say, I like to talk about, for example, micro-credential among the librarians, for example, because that is my topic in my transformation, for the library transformation in I propose that, micro-credential project for the library. So perhaps that can be a good topic for you to start, thinking. So third is about means. This means is about anything. For example, you as a person, whether you have the learning area, space, is whether why I cross that decent salary. In in Malaya, PhD candidates, mostly has salary. We pay around 2,000 or so, for you to become our student, and this student carry out all lab testing, or writing of the, the first starting of the groundbreaking ideas or groundbreaking findings. Usually the student will say, "Hey, hello, professor. Today I found out that when I put in the best for example, the seed of the lemon seed, for example, into the water, for example, mixed with cucumber, for example, instead of 2 days, breaking the seed, for example, it's only 1 hour, for example. So that is a breaking point, for example, so you have to write that. And this type of breaking points, or the new ideas usually come from that PhD or master's students, So number 4 is about progress of the work. This is really sometimes, that will take, I mentioned just now, out of 30, these people, progress of work, the supervisor will say, calling every 2-3 days, you will say, hello Khasiah, are you ready to meet me? I say, doctor, cannot today. You know, you say, keep telling all sort of reasons and alasan in the world. You know, you are not ready. You have a lot of work to do, because I'm doing part time, so I have a lot of reasons of not meeting my supervisor. For example, I'm giving example. Okay, so my supervisor says, okay, say, what about monthly meeting? Okay, she will set, you know, my supervisor, you know, my dear professor, Dr. Nolia. So she's already retired now, but she is so really, you know, she will call me now and then. At least 2-3 days, she will call me. Are you ready to meet me? Just for a short talk, a small talk, you know, maybe, you know, you drink over a cup of tea or something like that. So you meet up, you know. So progress of the work is discussed or is presented during those time of the day, or, you know, sometimes, most of the time we meet in front of a house. We have the Pakngah, you know, coffee tiam, you know, so we meet there, okay, something like that, you know. So you have like 2-3 days we'll meet, you know, weekly, monthly. So you have a, you know, discussion and how the progress of work is represented to her, you know. So number 5 is about cooperation. Okay, the professor will always become the ally, you know, of a partner or associate to the student, you know. So it has to become like that, you know. And this must communicated every day, or at least every week, or at least every month. You know, that is how good you are. You know, very mutual, very, you know, you're so rapat, you are so close together that you wanted to really have a lot of teh tarik, you know, teh tarik and also roti canai together. You know, so this is really good, because the cooperation will come, you know, really good, because you have developed the relationship and also the friendship with your supervisor. Day after day, you know, this is the type of cooperation when you can send your paper together, you can go everywhere in the world together, but not now lah, maybe, you know, but last time, you know, we have like, Khasiah, let's present in, for example, in China, for example. So with that type of, you know, invitation you have from your supervisor, okay? So encouragement, this is really, really needed, you know. Somehow, you know, you're so tired, tired lah, you know, every day, you know, I have a lot of reasons, you know, not going there, not doing that, you know, not writing the first chapter, for example. Where is your first chapter? Where is your third chapter, for example? You know, come up with the third chapter first. If you can't write the first chapter, for example, you know, you just do that, you know. So imagine this is the memories that I have until today, you know. So I think that, you know, the encouragement that she has put up with me, you know, I think that's awesome, and I think it's really, really, you know, make me feel that, you know, I have a good supervisor. And of course, discrepancies of management, I have lots of that, you know. One of the discrepancies that gone through my path of PhD is, you know, when I waited for 1 whole year, you know, nobody talked to me, okay. What happened to your, I have submitted all my PhD, is the whole manuscript there, you know. Yeah, the whole thing here, you know, it's about that thick, you know, it's about 2 inches thick. So submitted to my external supervisor. You know, my external supervisor did not respond, you know. He was in German at that time, okay. I have a professor in German. So, you know what happened to that? I don't, maybe not good to share, you know, but he said he was busy and, you know, he couldn't meet up the deadline. So there you go, the whole year gone. Be happy, you know, no worries. Keep on. You keep on asking, you know, what happened to your manuscript. So after 1 year, so Alhamdulillah, you know, so we have the external supervisor. Mine was from Taiwan University. So that professor mentioned very, very good about my topic. So, you know, there you go. Only I have a very minor, you know, to work with, you know. So within at least 3 months, so I submitted my final. So it's really good, you know. So at number 8, you know, about knowledge transfer. Again, it's about knowledge transfer, you know, from your supervisors to you. It must, you know, there must be an essential link in the propagation of the knowledge previously accumulated by your supervisor. So your supervisor said, okay, if you go to China, you have this problem. If you go to UK, you have this problem. If you go to Malaysia, for example, this is the problem. So this is a type of, you know, bantering or discussion or dialogue you have with your supervisor. So you have this knowledge now today. That's why it's really good for you to have a really a good supervisor because they are your good friend. Okay. So we have the last about this is about professional projection. You know, it's good to be a student, you know, but how you project your professionalism, you know, is it a better future for you, you know, for both of you? When you discuss, for example, in my thesis is about embedded librarianship. You know, I can share that a bit today if you want. Embedded librarianship, yes, so boring subject. Why you want to speak about embedded librarianship? You know, how you make it interesting? So is it a good future for you if you study this embedded librarianship? Is it a good future for your supervisor? If your supervisor say, okay, I support you to go on with this topic, and you don't care, nobody wants to care about it, you have to love that topic, you know, because you are going to be married to that topic for the next 3 or 5 years. Okay, so last, this is about relationship forever, you know. Like it or not, it's like marriage again. You know, this supervisor of yours must be in the kind of relationship that could promote connections to you in your next, or your next job. Okay, so that's okay. The topic, I will jump to this straight to the topic. You know why? You know, I like this topic so much. You know, I can tell you that, you know, this topic is really my topic. You know, because when I started the journey in 2015, you know, I have gone to a part where actually the library wants me, Professor Kantun Abdul Razak asked me to develop a division where actually I can support the research. So actually this is about support researchers, you know, supporting the researchers, whether I can become the embedded, you know, I can become I am entrenched to that subject, you know, to the among the researchers, you know. So I can tutor the researchers. I can help with the research. A lot of things I can do, you know. So actually, the topic is it's not so significant, but actually the result of this embedded librarianship is until today at University of Malaya, I can sense that it really helped me a lot. Okay. What is it all about? You know, when I started my journey, you know, you can see that, you know, very simple scholarship roles versus attitude towards research, and it produce knowledge production. So when I started the pilot study, so I can see that research anxiety can be interpreted as very low. You know why? The librarian doesn't care with the researcher. They don't care. At that point in time when I started the research, most of the librarians, when I asked them, do you know that librarians support research? They said, yeah, I know. I put this up, you know, I put in the web and the social media, everything about how to publish, you know, the research cycle too. We have the 7 step of research cycle, you know. So we mentioned about how to find a good topic, how to find a good, you know, using the you know, the template. For example, you have the IMRAT template, right? You know about IMRAT template. We have another discussion on that lah. Okay. So, for example, you know how about a good topic. You know how to write a good introduction, how to write a good abstract. You know all those things. But the librarians say whether they submitted their articles or not, we don't really bother lah. You know, something like that. So you know, they don't care. They don't. The librarian, me. At that point in time, is me. I supported them, but I never want to ask, hey, have you submitted the article that I have asked you to write like this and like that one? No, we didn't do that. We did not close the loop. You know, that's very bad librarian, right? So I wanted to change that. That's why this topic is really good, you know, to discuss. So at the end of the day, you know, I started to do the study, you know. So I saw that, you know, in the attitude toward research, you know, the research anxiety, I dropped that sub variable because actually without that variable, I can go, you know, a very positive attitude, you know, supporting the researcher and how useful the research can be, you know. So they become the embedded librarians with the knowledge that close the loop of the knowledge production. So that is, you know, born in 2016, of course lah. You know, my topic, embedded librarianship in research universities. Okay. So you mean when you talk about embedded librarians, you know, is people with experience, you know. That's why when I submitted my topic at the age of 40, it meets it is good, you know. You before, if I submitted my topic at the age of, for example, 25, for example, you know, when I started practicing librarian. So the topic doesn't click, you know, it doesn't click, you know, it doesn't jive, it doesn't synchronize with the need of the respondents, okay? My respondents are all the librarians in the research university. So, you know, when I saw this quarrel 2012, and you mentioned about research data management, actually, at that point in time, actually, I haven't seen research data management in any of the libraries. But today, we have USM, UiTM, you know, doing the embedded management or embedded librarianship, you know, with this research data management in their libraries, okay? So, okay, I come back to number 2, yeah, about work and projects, you know. So you see the roadmap of a researcher. Why in 1999? When I submitted a topic to, I think some of us know about Dr. Zora Ibrahim. I submitted a topic to her, you know. The topics goes about something like this, you know. How do faculty librarians, you know, support the research in the university? And she asked me one question which I couldn't answer until today, you know, because faculty librarian is no in Malaysia, because faculty librarian is like a professor professing, a lecturer teaching, and also becoming two in one, a researcher and also a librarian. Some university in Indonesia had done that, but mostly 90% of librarians in US, in research university in US, they are actually 2 in 1. Okay, so that's why in 1999 my title or topic cannot go lah, you know, cannot do it. So I submitted another topic in 2010, for example, about actually how actually a librarian can become actually a professor in 2010. And also that topic was thrown out, you know, said, you know, when I submitted to my friend, you know, actually I have few friends that submitted a topic, you know, said, no, Khasiah, you cannot do this, you know, because you are going to, you know, make people uneasy, you know. So, okay, I said, go. There goes 2010. And 2012, you know, I submitted another topic, you know, about how actually librarian can help into consortium, you know, in the consortium, you know, because consortium, I think if you know, it's really good to have a consortium in any country, you know. You can say in Taiwan, we have a good consortium. In Hong Kong, we have a good consortium, you know. So again, you know, they talk about it's not easy because the publisher will say this and that. They are not going to support you, blah, 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 you know. So my respondent at that point in time was the vendors, of course. And 2015, Alhamdulillah, Dr. Nulia supported me for the topic. And at the end of, actually, the topic previously was about knowledge production. But Professor Dr. Abriza in UM proposed to me, Khasiah, just change the title into embedded librarianship. So people will like it more, you know, rather than saying that, oh, you are supporting the knowledge production of the university. People not so happy with that. So the evolution of intellectual freedom, actually, you said that you wanted to research whatever, but actually it goes back to your supervisor or your friends or the bidang itself, the subject field that you wanted to throw in that idea. So again, you know, until you die, you know, rest in peace is, you know, research in peace, you know. So after you die, maybe people will tell you, oh, Khasiah actually wanted to do this, but cannot, you know, after 3 or 4 times trial. So there you go. So there goes, you have the embedded librarianship by Khasiah. So yeah, number 3, this is really, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't help, you know, really your peer support perhaps improve to your well-being. I have good friends, you know, young, really sit with me months and months in we have previously we have the postgraduate a room, you know, at level 1 where we really, you know, day in, day out, you know, we sit there and we discuss this and that. We have masa tu, we have really good, you know, Dr. Zubaida, sorry. and then Prof Zali, masa tu kan at the postgraduate office. So actually they are really, really good people, and they become our friends. Okay, this is really good. I saw this somewhere. I said I wanted to share this with you. The pre-arrival. For the first 6 months, in my PhD path, so I started going to these modules. You have the skills training. You have Prof. For example, I really, really remember this professor from wait, I can't remember her name. Sorry. But she's good. When I remember her name, I will share her name. She's really, really good. Okay, she's the lady that I really fell in love with. Not love that, she just said, when she talked about PhD, about the method, you just saw that, oh, I know this is the way. Very clear and very lucid. Okay, this is the type of professor that tell you, classes day in and out, so you can't focus, So you write, for example, you have Saturdays, every Saturday morning you have to attend that classes, So you have to pass that classes, for example. So as you go along, from, for example, kalau you tengok, this one is like, streams, from the gunung, from the hills, So then until the end, you see the, when you depart, at your, at the harbor there, have a big ship. Now you have a small ship, maybe you don't have any ship at all. You have just the canoe with you, okay? So you have to be very, very careful, when you maneuver the streams, from the upper stream. So you have to understand all these things first, you have to be very humble. You have to really listen carefully to all the professors, So you don't really have much to go, don't have a really good space for you to maneuver your subject. You have to follow. So maybe the year 2, you can have more space, and year 3, actually you will become like, oh, I know already. This is the topic that I wanted to speak, and on, like the song lah, the Titanic song, okay? So you keep on going on and on, telling and, discussing about embedded librarianship until you die. Okay. So, okay, this is about the, time and space, I proposed this, the Einstein space-time. You can get that, from, the internet. When you talk about space and time, you talk about the PhD activity. So I frame it out lah, I buat mapping sikit lah. So how you do actually the 5 things that in the activity when you said about updating, networking, disseminating, discussing, and also pursuing the personal development, What are the focus for updating, for example? How to search, for example, the material. How much material that you get. In my first year, I got about 10,000 reference. Second year, it goes down to 5. Of course, when you submitted, at least, there are less than 1,000 because, that is how much, things that you have to read. 10,000 reference or URL you have to go through, okay? So this is really good to have the tools that you will have to understand, Don't go to Google, but you go to Google Scholar only lah, okay? So don't go to Google. Your Google will make you serabut lah, You will have a higher streams to start from, so it's not easy. So you use Facebook and things like that. They are so allometric in there. People talk or discuss during the in the blog, for example, and Twitter also. So that's a good starting point. So second, about networking. Networking, you have to go like emailing, for example. Nowadays you do emailing because, oh, hello, how are you? Can I invite you to become a speaker for something like that? Okay. So you have the Facebook, for example, to have that, because to seek the research bonds today, if you dream to become an academia, today is the right time for you to start that, networking. So next is about disseminating what you have, for example, the professional reputation, So you have the LinkedIn, that is a must, So another is, okay, Zoom in and out, for example, so you do your Gmeet at least once a month, with your friends, So you develop that kind of discussion, your fluent, your fluency when you discuss the topic. So there, when you do your Viva, actually you have a good, very fluid of your discussion. So that is disseminating. Discussing the research issues, for example, you're increasing your self-confidence when you have this Pablons, ORCID ID, the research gate. Start submitting, the review paper now. So at this point in time, when you do your research gate, when you register at Pablons or ResearchGate, you actually now is starting when you submit your paper, research review paper. Okay. Last is about pursuing the personal development. This is good, micro credential and MOOCs. Okay. You start get invitations from your friends, from your network, from the LinkedIn, from these people that actually knows that you can speak well. So that's this is really good. Okay, so you know that actually your title is accepted by your friends. Okay, again, this is some discussion about embedded librarianship. You are looking at the field with full of flower blooming. Imagine this. You can go to this type of places. Actually, you see that yourself is one of those flower that is blooming now. So, but actually, according to Muhammad Iqbal, this poet in the ultimate aim of the ego, your ego. You talk about ego lah, about yourself. Yourself is an ego actually. Okay, it's not to see something. But to be something, it's not about looking at the field only, it's nice, good flowers, very, very much love to see it, but you have to be that flower. One of those flower is you, okay? So, okay, this is another point where I think I have to remind myself again and again, So whatever that I have put in here, 8 lelah yang disukai oleh Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, as I mentioned again, you are actually proposing things which actually you akan dapat di akhirat, So actually the lelah that menuntut ilmu, surah Al-Mujadalah ayat 11. So this is really you have to put in there, the thing that actually it is good to have that when you are so tired, every day or every night. So I have started, becoming so heavy in my head. You have to start discussing that with your friend, with your supervisor. But this is good, okay? Perspiration is good. Okay, this is my PhD. Okay, the first year, of course, you saw the flowers all the way. But the first year, the flower is there, but also the leopards. The tiger is there, waiting to just jump at you. So people will tell you, Khasiah, this topic, nothing. This is nothing good about the topic. There will be people will come from all sides. From the top, from the bottom, from the right, or from the left. Will tell you, Khasiah, this is not a good topic. Okay, people say, get out. This nothing. It's goodbye, next. People say to you, rubbish. I've heard that, People tell me, Khasiah, that's a rubbish topic, okay? But you keep on, doing that, you keep on cycling, walking or cycling or whatever, driving, So the second year, you see the big picture. But how are you going to pass that, that big, the gajah, the elephant on the road, So, you have to start telling, hello, okay, stop. I have to stop and really, be humble, tell the elephant that, okay, you can pass the lane first. I don't mind, let me wait, Just continue to be as humble as possible. So, of course, the final year, lots of good, beautiful cats are waiting for you. And, of course, all the fruits that you have, and people tell you about, Khasiah, actually, when you daki the gunung, have you been to the Everest? No, okay. Anybody been to the Everest and climb Everest? No, maybe you read about people, climbing the Everest, how difficult it is, But once they have conquered the Everest, it's really, really sweet journey, okay. So I have been to that type of journey actually, about 15 years ago when I climbed the Mount of Kinabalu, At that point in time, Mount Kinabalu was about 4,500 meters. Now I think it's a bit lower because of the gerakan tanah, kan? So that is already lower, I think about 1,100 meters. So, but it's not easy for me to climb, at that age, when I was about 27 years old, So now, lagilah, I don't think I can climb Mount Kinabalu. But the result, at 6 o'clock in the morning, when you reach the peak of Kinabalu, you will see that, it's really worth the journey. They tell you, if you have the chance, please daki one of the gunung or bukit lah, Okay. Okay, all's well that ends well. Alhamdulillah, I want to share with you. I like reading about William Shakespeare. All about the rhetoric lah. Banyak sangat rhetoric, but actually the story tell about it's about Helen, the king of France, blah blah blah, and how actually she get to become the wife, of Bertram. Okay, so I think it's not easy road for Helen also. Not for PhD like me or like you. It's not going to be easy. But, keep on walking, keep on doing it, and slowly, inshallah, you will get there. And any ilmu is not going to be bermanfaat or any, it's not going to be worth the journey. If you keep it there, start sharing, so you go to LinkedIn and start, I've done this, blah, blah, blah. The method say like this, the finding is this and that. So people will start looking at your research now, okay? Okay, I think that's right. End of it. I don't think it's worth anything, but I think the part that when I shared to you, I like the idea that we as librarian maybe we say that we are not contributing, but actually you are contributing a lot. So thank you very much to the cikgu in the Faculty of Information Management, UiTM di hatiku always and always, forever and ever. When I start my journey as student, Alhamdulillah, syukur, I was offered in UiTM, and now I stay at university, but actually I'm bringing the, jiwa raga, as UiTM student. Thank you to cikgu. I will never forget you. I hope and pray Allah will give you the best in Jannah. InsyaAllah. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Khasiah Zakaria, for the very interesting and motivating sharing session to all the PhD candidates out there. So I hope that all of you can have get some input, a very nice input from Dr. Khasiah just now. And then we have here a Q&A. We open for the question from the floor, from the audience, yeah? Is there any question so far? Yes, we have question from Akmal Ajelis. Salam Dr. Khasiah. Akmal from USM here. My question is, sometimes when we read too much, there are a lot of information needs to be digested. How does Dr. Khasiah explore various kinds of reading materials on many different platforms and then successfully harvesting the reading materials properly and interestedly? Over to you, Dr. Khasiah.
Thank you, Dr. Norhayati. Ala Akmal, I think you can answer the question yourself. You are a good researcher itself. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you are invited by the Asian Open Access, done by Singapore Management University soon, I think in October. Thank you for the question, actually, Akmal. I think there are a lot of tools actually you can do. Perhaps when I started my journey, I used EndNotes actually. When I use my EndNotes, actually you have the beside that, you have the sub variable. You boleh subdivide the topic to by a subject, by the variables. Actually, when you start reading, actually you can see it falls into A sub variables or B sub variables, and you start doing the reading again and again, back and forth. For example, of course, it took many turns, and discussions, But when you say you are digesting the subject, actually you are looking at it at Librarian actually has a lot of tools. For example, the subject headings of Library of Congress, it really helps. When I started the journey, when I of research, this research journey, I spoke to my friends, the 30 something in the class, say and ask, how do librarian classify books? So actually it helps a lot. Do DDC, for example, you have the the top 10 subjects, and for the Library of Congress, you have 57 subjects, for example. Based on that, and you keep reading, you can actually subdivide your fields, and of course you have to do a lot of discussion on that. And other than that, for example, how do you subdivide your subject? Or actually, you are looking at siphoning the filtering, the main themes to the sub variables. This need a lot of discussion with your supervisors. So when you start shrinking or siphoning of the subject, actually when you are focusing on your field, you can see that there are for example, how I do this, there are step by step. For example, one, of course, you use of those things, the subject headings. Number two, you use the metadata. Okay, for example, the subject, you can have metadata, for example, in the field of library of science, library science, there are metadata in that. I think you know. This Mr. Akmal is really good person. I mean, he's really good, better than me. I hope he's so higher than me, much better than me, because he's a good person that understand the subject so fast. He's brilliant person, I think. So I think that's no need for me to tell. But first step, you go to DDC or LC, and then next you go to metadata, and then level 3 maybe what you do is do a lot of discussion, and also check the Facebook, the all metrics site, the subject that people discuss in the social media. So those are the things that I have done always. So they have blogs and reviews, people talk about it in the blogs. So you go to certain blogs. For example, I have a blog that I have kept until today. For example, so those are the blogs that I will discuss with. So you have people, good people that will respond to you. And of course, ResearchGate itself has a discussion, so you can discuss that, and also LinkedIn. Okay, so I think that's really good to go that way, step by step.
Thank you, Dr. Khasiah, for the explanation, for the advising, for the advice. And then thank you, Akmal, for the question. We have a few more questions, Dr. Khasiah. It seems like everybody, I like to throw the question to you. I think because you are very, I think for the librarian,
very senior, very old.
they love to have a conversation and give a question to the librarian, because you have a very vast experience in terms of looking for information, looking for the subject matter in area. Okay, now from Malaya, is there any tips for preparing on PhD? What are the important elements that need to be considered? Dr. Khasiah.
I have only two, actually. Thank you for that question. Tips. Actually, there's millions of tips, but I have only two to give you. Okay. You have to adhere to the surrounding, okay? As I mentioned for you, the first submitted topic in 1999 was just thrown out in few seconds. When I submitted the topic, they say, what? This topic will make people angry with you, Khasiah. So don't do this, So you have to be, really aware of your surrounding. So you go with the surrounding. Where, for example, current topic, you talk about the emerging technologies, for example. So you have to go with the flow. So you don't just submit your topic with, out of the box, too much. For example, like Tesla did lah. If you have the money, fine. But if you don't have the money, you're just the usual normal people like me. You throw something into the air to your supervisor. With the supervisors, the real supervisor, they will advise you accordingly. Number one. Number two, of course, this is a 3-year project, So I'm advising myself as a student, as a learner, as a researcher also, until the end of my life, inshallah. And to the supervisor to be, this is not about rocket science. You are telling your students to understand the introduction part, how to find a good topic, how to write a good abstract. So please do not go beyond that, as if you're developing a new battery for the world, for example, So that's really harsh, So you have to tell, like, be careful, you don't, overthinking lah, don't do overthinking, So these two top tips will make you, because you are going to marry with that type of topic that you are heading to. For example, you are talking about embedded librarianship. How far do you read? For example, I mentioned just now, we have thousands of books in embedded librarianship, but they are talking about different things. Embedded librarianship, this is not my embedded librarianship, but this is the way that I wanted this embedded librarianship, for example. So how you justify that, So this justification is done every day, In fact, when you read a new book, you keep on saying that the siphoning, when I mentioned to Mr. Akmal just now, you have to siphon again and again and again until at the end of the day, you only catch the big fish. You do not want the small fish, So you have the biggest fish is about your biggest topic, is about your life topic. Yeah? Thank you.
Much. We have another 2 questions, Dr. Khasiah. Bring it on. Okay. Thank you, Mel, for the question just now. And then this come from Norhayati Zakaria. Salam, Dr. Khasiah. Haniza from UiTM would like to ask a question to you. My question is, what is the best motivation for anybody who are interested in pursuing PhD? Please, Dr. Khasiah.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How old are you now? If you're below 40, then I will ask you, are you healthy? So the best motivation is about being healthy every day. If you're not healthy, you can't be a good PhD candidate. So if you are not healthy, please make sure that you become a bit more healthier, since yesterday. For example, you must really take care of yourself first. PhD is not worth it if you are not healthy. So that is the best motivation I can give you. And maybe, to myself, I am advising myself every day, So you don't sit all day long, facing the fog, the screen, So maybe after half or 1 hour, or 38, okay, still very young, okay. So that's a good age actually at 40 below. Really, you're healthy. And maybe you have 2 or 3 kids, that's good enough. And you bring along your kids to have your PhD. So actually, it's good to teach your student to have a PhD because, the student of that age, below 10 or so, or below 20, your kids, can learn actually doing the PhD part. What I mean is the IMRAT part, When you talk about IMRAT, you talk about how you get a good and sexy topic. You don't go with beyond 8 words in your topic. So you tell your student, you don't go beyond 8 the study of this and that in Malaysia and Singapore and whatever, So you have more than 8 words in your topic. So that's not sexy. Sexy means very shrewd, it's very sharp and very sweet. And so people remember your topic. And you are telling your student, also that student yang anak you tadi lah, your kids, how you make a good intro abstract. You don't put everything in the abstract, You have like 300 words and you put in everything in there, You just have at least 3 things. For example, the objective, the introduction, the objective, and also the finding and also methodology. So that 3 things must be in your abstract. So I'm teaching your kid to do that. Be sharp and sweet. And next, you talk about introduction. What you put into the introduction, So these are the motivation that you talk to your people or to your friends. Actually, you're teaching your kids together. That's the motivation. That's what I mentioned to you. Your friends, your family must be in a healthy stage. You must be in a synchronization of everything. You don't put yourself in a PhD and you say, I'm not going to the invitation of kahwin, wedding. No, you attend. You go on with your usual life, but you must be fit to be that. Yeah. So again and again, and of course, when you submitted your reference, for example, when you are doing the APA or MLA format, for example, is this enough, for example, that you have covered in your subject? So actually, you are telling your kids to submit a good proposal defense already. Maybe dia boleh menjadi the youngest ever at 12 years old, PhD graduate. So that's the motivation. Start doing and thinking that. Inshallah, you will. Inshallah, selamat. Amin.
Then another question. Okay, from Zafrizal. Dr. Khasiah, may I know what is the best strategy for finding research area?
Thank you. Waalaikumsalam. Zafrizal. Nama betul ke ni? Zafrizal ni?
Itu mesti nama artis tu, Dr. Khasiah.
Celebrities lah. Okay, Zafrizal. have you sent in your proposal defense? If you have, I would like to know what topic is that. Maybe we can discuss that, over a phone or, over a cup of coffee. I'm inviting you to he and she in UiTM or he and she in UiTM. Is it open? Okay. The discussion about the best strategy for finding research area. Okay. You have to go really, really far and beyond of your subject field. Library and information actually is about multi-pronged subjects. So library and information can be discussed from general, the bibliography, the museum or the gallery level up to the about astronomy. Actually, how do you do that? Now especially the data science, the open science, you talk about open science, how open science is actually, impacting the role of the librarians, So if you talk about open science, actually who are actually the submitter of this subject field? Most of it, 90% are in the field of science. So you talk about the field now you're currently in is about open science, very open, You can talk about open science, about, for example, how actually are you doing a bibliometric subject, in a cancer. Dr. Zarina did that, Professor Zarina did that, in 1975. So the subject is already very vast, very beyond the library topics, So if you are talking about in 1995, Prof. Zarina was talking about bibliometric in the field of cancer. Imagine today, you can talk about anything at all. As I mentioned just now, you talk about Tesla, you're sending, just sending his car into the orbit. That is something you can check, For example, because when you talk about, for example, when the car is orbiting the world, for example, your universe, actually how many track points that they meet the meteor, for example. This is data. Data is about library science. So imagine, it's so vast, my dear Zafru. Over to you.
Right, thank you very much, Zafri, for the question, and thank you, Dr. Khasiah, for the answer. We have one more question that's come from the audience. Okay, from Nurul Shifa Tukiran. Hi, Dr. Khasiah. I am Shifa. I want to ask how to make sure we are on the right track and maintain the momentum since this pandemic hits us hard, especially our PhD journey.
Hi, Shifa. How old are you? Always about age, I know lah. Sorry lah. I feel quite old, but I know at 59 next year will be my 60 years. I will be finishing my tenure in but pandemic or non-pandemic, actually nothing hits us. Nothing. You have to be sure of that. Nothing hits you. You're very young, 28 years old. So nothing hits you actually. So go on, continue. There's nothing stop you. Keep on the juices. The thinking. Keep on the reading. Keep on, putting at that, in many buckle. Don't put in one buckle. So why buckle? There's a lot of things. First is about your buckle of information. When you submit, for example, today, the first draft of your proposal defense, you put in your, for example, in your pen drive. One in your pen drive, another one in your drive, your Google Drive. Another one where else? Do you have a cloud drive? For example, you have the Microsoft Drive cloud. You have to do that in many buckle. That is one. Number two, when you submitted your topic, did you discuss with at least 3 persons? Your friend, your boyfriend, your father, your mother. You tell them, I'm searching on this, I'm looking on this, So you discuss. At least, for example, your mother can capture. Hey, actually, you spoke to me about that. Have you done that? My mother did that. Khasiah, have you done? You mentioned to me you wanted to do this and that. Your mother will remind you that, at least. Or your friend. So you at least 3 persons or at least 3 people. Or you submit into a blog. You create 1 or 2 or 3 blog. Or you're into your email. You have at least, by now, you have at least 3 emails now. You have your special email, you have your first draft email, you have your second draft email. So you have that. At least when you are forgetting something, you check all those buckle, all those baskets. So that is a thing that I think you should be doing. So that's a lot of things I think I wanted to share with you. but I think now it's already 10:45. I'm not sure how many minutes more I have.
I think that is the last question, Dr. Khasiah. So I am about to wrap the session now.
All right. All the best to all the PhD candidates. I know, Haslina, you are doing your best. Please, Zaf and Shifa, if I'm not mistaken. And all of you, I think I really, really wish you all the best. As librarian, forever and ever, we will help you. If you need anything, just email me. I can share the email so you can submit to my email. Inshallah, I will have much time or more time after my pencen after bulan 4, April. So inshallah, I will help as much as I possible. I will help you, inshallah. Thank you very much for inviting me today. So subhanakallahumma bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. I'm sorry if there's anything that I have said touch anybody. It's just my maybe kesilapan kelemahan saya sendiri. But the best and good is for you to take along your PhD path. Be aware that you are contributing a lot to that. How many % of the people that graduate? And for your information, the Muslim women in here, among you, actually there's so little PhD graduates in Muslim women. So you must graduate. No matter how, you should be graduating as a PhD holder. So all the best. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khasiah, for the wonderful session, to share with us your experiences, and then sharing with us some tips to the PhD candidates. So what I would like to say to all the candidates, what can I wrap from the session just now? You should connect with people out there. You should be humble. You should be searching for something new. You should be whole, no matter what that hit you in between of your journey. It doesn't matter how slow you are. It doesn't matter how hectic your time. You must go, progress, and walk without any distraction. You have to walk and you have to be positive all the time. And then, as you can know, that PhD is about life. PhD is about manage your life. PhD is about manage your relationship with people, with your supervisor, with your family, with your friend, with your bosses, and the most important thing is with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So before I end my session, once again, thank you, Dr. Khasiah. I will end with one poem that I love the most. When I was studying my PhD, I just hold to this poem. So I would like to read out to you so that you will have the same feelings as mine. Don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you are trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Success is failure, turn inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you can never tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when you are hardest hit. It's when things go wrong, then you mustn't quit. With that, thank you very much to all participants for today's session. And now I over to MC Shifa. Thank you very much. Once again, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Very informative speech from Dr. Khasiah and lovely poem from Prof. Dr. Norhayati. Okay, now we postpone our first session. The second sharing session will start on 2:30 p.m. with Prof. Dr. Zainuddin Awang and Assoc Prof. Dr. Marsitah Ahmad as moderator. Thank you and stay safe.